So the talks of Conor McGregor versus Jorge Masvidal are beginning to die out, and I feel like we're all in understanding that the UFC is going to be looking to go in the direction of Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal for the welterweight championship of the world. I'm looking forward to this. I know Dana White's made it clear from the start. I kind of called that this was going to happen. I didn't see any way that McGregor and Masvidal would be fighting each other next. The UFC has decided to go in the direction of, we're going to make the most out of Masvidal at 170 and make the most out of McGregor at 155 so that both divisions are nice and healthy. Because think about it like this. If you were to make McGregor versus Masvidal, would it do record numbers? There's a chance. There's a chance it beats Khabib and McGregor. Who knows? It's a big fucking pay-per-view. That's all I know. That's the biggest pay-per-view you could make right now. However, if you do make that fight, what does Kamaru Usman do? If you make McGregor versus Masvidal, say in May, what does Kamaru Usman do? Masvidal's Leon Edwards is fighting Tyron Woodley in London at the end of March. Do we wait to hear what's next for Usman until the end of March? That's a fucking long time. And we've got cards to fill. And then what does Gaethje do on the other side of things? And then what does McGregor do? Does he win a fight at 170 potentially against Masvidal? That's a big if, by the way. I wouldn't expect that would happen whatsoever. I'd pick Masvidal over McGregor. But either way, if he were to win, because let's face it, it's MMA, does he then get a title shot at 155? Do we then wait another 4 months to see Usman back in the picture? Like, we got to move on with our own divisions here. So they're going with the direction of Jorge Masvidal versus Kamaru Usman, which I like. I think it's a great fight. Both guys are bigger than ever right now. They've both been doing the media rounds recently. They both showed up at UFC 246. It's a big fight. People are aware that this fight is going on and this fight could potentially happen next. And then it was solidified when Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal had a little confrontation where it was basically just Masvidal being Masvidal and then, do some then, do some. It was a weird confrontation, to be honest with you. Not much was really found out about why they were confronting each other or anything. It was just a lot of shouting and being pushed backwards by middle-aged men. But either way, it built a bit of a fight talk. So I don't mind it. They had a bit of a confrontation. Masvidal saw that Kamaru Usman had his cast on today, so it must have been one of Kamaru Usman's... You know, he has those days where he just doesn't wear the cast, and then he has the next day where he has to wear the cast. Because he had it on JRE. He had his cast off on JRE, but when he's confronting Masvidal, he has it on. So, yeah, I guess he just couldn't throw down because of the cast. Such a shame that he had it on. That removable cast that he has on his hand. Anyway, I feel like that's the direction that they're going to go with. I like the direction. I like it. Good for the welterweight division. It gives us some establishment on who's going to be there for the winner of Woodley versus Leon Edwards. Maybe the winner of Leon Edwards-Woodley takes on Colby Covington. We'll see what happens, but it's always good for a division to have a firm understanding on what's going on with the title. And I like that they've gone with Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal. I don't mind it. I feel like it'll be a good build-up. Masvidal's already doing the rounds on media saying that he's going to be fighting Kamaru Usman next and he would rather fight Kamaru Usman next. We should have seen this coming. I saw it coming, but, you know, some people didn't. Now we get the most out of McGregor fighting Justin Gaethje in the meantime, perhaps. But Masvidal Usman is great. I love it. I'm looking forward to it. It's a dangerous fight for Masvidal. I'll be honest with you guys. I hate Usman as much as 99% of the population of the world. But I'm not blinded by my hatred. He's a fucking monster of a fighter, okay? I'm not going to be like, oh, Usman's trash and all this, like some people who don't like Usman. I don't like Usman at all. I think he's boring. I think he's weird. Not very entertaining whatsoever. But I can see that he's a monster. He beat Colby Covington, you know? That means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. You beat Colby Covington, you beat Tyron Woodley, and out-wrestled him, and now you're taking on Masvidal, who, you know, we saw what happens when Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal wrestle with each other. We've seen those videos. I know we're all on the same page there. If you haven't seen those videos, go ahead and type in Jorge Masvidal, Colby Covington wrestling training. We've seen what happens there with the wrestling, okay? And people say, oh, but he beat Ben Askren. Yeah, but we didn't see any wrestling there, okay? That was not a best example on how good is Jorge Masvidal's wrestling. That was how good Jorge Masvidal can sprint across the cage and knee someone in the face. That's what we were discussing there. I just feel like Usman would have a fine old time with it, I'll be honest with you. I think it's a great fight, and trust me, I know Masvidal can win. I know Masvidal can win. I actually think Masvidal's more dangerous than some people think in this fight. Okay? the odds are going to be very close. I can respect that. Masvidal is a dangerous man on the feet. He also is very explosive with his scrambling ability, and he refuses to be put on his back. You know what? I don't know who's going to win. I feel like Usman's going to win. I want to see him face up against each other, you know, just because I know Usman is a huge welterweight, and people say that Masvidal's a 155er at welterweight. That's just not true to me anymore. I think Masvidal's a legit welterweight now. I saw it against Darren Till. I mean, even though Darren Till is one of the biggest welterweights around, Masvidal didn't look too small in there against him, you know, like Masvidal held his own, you know, was a big boy. He's a big guy. He's a 170 pounder now. So I'd like to see them two square up against each other. I kind of did. Usman's a little bit bigger, because Usman's bigger than every opponent that he faces off against. But even still, he's got the size there. He's got the reach as well, I know. I just feel like if Usman comes into the fight against Masvidal under the impression that, oh, I just went 5 rounds striking and TKO'd him in the 5th by early stoppage, but TKO'd him in the 5th round, I'm going to go out there and strike for a bit. I'm good, right? Gonna walk into some fucking bad shit from Jorge Masvidal, but if he does what he did against Tyron Woodley, he'll win. And I think he's gonna do that. I think he's gonna not give a shit about the boos from the fans. I think he's gonna go in there and smush Masvidal against the cage and just be the bigger, stronger guy that's a nuisance and be the dominant wrestler in there. I really do. Masvidal's really good. He's really damaging. Kamaru's very good as well. Masvidal's gonna be coming off a bit of a long layoff here. Some of the opponents that Masvidal's beaten, trust me, I give him credit for beating Darren Till, but in hindsight, maybe Darren Till was cutting a bit too much weight, but at the time, he beat Darren Till. I give him full credit for that. Darren Till was a beast, coming off a loss to Tyron Woodley, but he beat Darren Till, and Darren Till was top 3, I believe, at that time, at least. Maybe 2, maybe 3, one of those 2 ranking spots. I think it was number 3, actually. Credit. Ben Askren win? How good is that win, really? Ben Askren comes into the UFC, wins against Robbie Lawler? You know? Kind of not. So that's one thing. And then he fights Masvidal and loses. And then he loses to Damian Maia as well, which doesn't look good after the fact. I don't know how good a win over Ben Askren is, I'll be honest with you guys. And then you look again, Nate Diaz. Yeah. I think he's got an overall record of 2-3 at welterweight. 3-4 at welterweight, I believe, right now. Maybe 3-5. He beat Anthony Pettis, who's a 155er coming up, who broke his foot in the first round. Didn't look the best in that fight, but won. Then he took on Jorge Masvidal. You know, I don't know. I don't know how to talk about this, to be honest with you, because I believe in Masvidal. I just believe that I've overrated him a little bit before. You know, like when he first wins over someone, I'm like, he's the fucking best, he can do this, he can do that. And then, but when I really deep it afterwards, and I'm not in the heat of the moment of watching him beat someone up, and I go through his record and I do my little calculations and my due diligence, I just feel like Usman's going to win. I really do. I think there's a reality to the size and wrestling. And I think he's going to win. I'll be honest with you guys. I really do. I think Usman and Covington... Listen, here's how I think the layout of the division is. I think it's Usman and Covington at the very top together, but Usman's slightly ahead of Covington because those two are even Stevens going into that fight until the very 5th round. Like... They're right there next to each other, but Usman's established himself as better. Covington next, then you've got the Woodley and the Leon Edwards. Then you've got the Masvidal underneath that, I feel. Okay? In terms of threat levels for the belt. Because Masvidal, as much as you like him, the only guy he has a win over in the division is number 8, I believe. Or number 9, maybe, now that Michael Chiesa is in the top 8. Number 9, Nate Diaz. It's the only win he has that's currently in the division. And he's getting a title shot. It's just weird to me. I like it. I feel like he's earned a title shot. It's the best fight to make. It makes levels of sense because at the time that he beat those guys, they were the top of the division. Darren Till number 3, of course. But I just feel like Usman beats him. I've got to put my hatred to a side. Usman's going to win. Even though he's a fucking cringy little cunt. And I wish him nothing but the worst. And I want Masvidal to go out there and absolutely fucking plaster the face off of him. So that we get rid of him out of this world. So we can maybe see Masvidal Covington and Masvidal versus... Who knows? Leon Edwards, if Edwards can get past Woodley. Like, there's more fun when Masvidal's the champion, I feel like. Way more fun. And then maybe down the line, if McGregor, the planets align and the fucking seas stop waving towards the ocean and the fucking pigs start flying, McGregor gets back on top, fingers crossed, and gets the 155-pound belt, and Masvidal's got the 170-pound belt, that's when you can make the fucking super fight of all super fights and sell the most pay-per-views of all fucking time. Okay? I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. I'm glad they've went in this direction. I think there's a reality that Usman is most likely going to win. I also like that Usman's going to have a little bit more time off. I know he's faking the hand injury and that, but even still, maybe not faking it, but whatever. He's a weird character, I'll be honest with you. I can't quite tell if that's a cast or not because it keeps going off and on very quickly. Maybe it's a half. I don't know. Who knows what's going on with Kamaru Usman. But one thing we do know is that he's had a little bit of time after his fight with Colby Covington, which, let's be honest, he needed some time off. We were all expecting Usman to get straight back in there, sign a fight with someone right now, but that was a war with Colby Covington. I mean, Usman got rocked a couple times in that fight, so for him to get a month off now, just to clear his head and think about what moves are next, I feel like we're going to get the Masvidal vs. Usman fight probably on the UFC 251 card in June. I feel like that would be the best move to make. Maybe as the co-main event to Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier 3. Who knows? Maybe it's a main event of its own and we have to wait a bit longer for Stipe versus DC. Hopefully not. I feel like we could make a super card at UFC 251. Much like we did at UFC 241 as well. That was a big card with Stipe Miocic versus DC on there. I look forward to it. I really do. It's going to be a good year of fights coming up. Let's just get them signed so we know what to talk about. I think Usman would win. Masvidal's got a chance, guys. I'm not degrading Masvidal here, but if I had to put my house on it, I'm betting on Usman. Okay? I think he's very good. I credit his wins a lot more than I do Masvidal's right now. I really do. Goodbye. Click that button there. Like and subscribe. I'll see you later.